You have suffered so much just from thinking that people are different than you. You have spent so much time that you could have been peacefully enjoying your inheritance in your head, wondering and worrying about what another being was thinking, what their motive could possibly be, what their next step may be as they dress their presentation with an air of mystery to try to throw you off. And it only works when you are distracted and you're caught up in the same game that they're playing. But as you learn to walk in truth and abide in truth, as you learn to listen to the whisper and sit in the stillness and allow the questions that you present on the inside of yourself to your Father and your source to be answered by your source and revealed to you in supernatural ways, utilizing the common everyday people and items around you, you'll see that what you've been concerned with is such a lowly expression compared to the truth that you've been offered the opportunity to walk endlessly in. What's good, family? 48 Laws of Power through the lens of truth. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with at all times. Do not offend the wrong person. There are a multiplicity of different types of people inside of the world that you find yourself operating within. And each of these types of people respond differently to your attempts to deceive them. So you have to be smart enough, intelligent enough, logical enough, observant enough to know at all times who you're in front of so that you know which play to run to be effective in yielding and exercising the power that you crave to have over everybody around you. You can't return to original form harboring so many broken paradigms and lies. The illusions that you entertain and pour your life source into keep you outside of the experience of reality and fact. The fact is, all things were designed good and all things belong to the one who designed it, who is connected to you eternally and has extended his ownership to you freely for your enjoyment. But you, in your ignorance, have turned it down and misused the ability to create whatever you want for yourself, and you have miscreated your own chaos and your own stressful circumstances that you blame on other people and continue to experience day in and day out because you won't accept accountability, adjust and align with truth, forgive yourself, accept the truth that no matter how ugly and bad what you have done in the past is, it's in the past and the past no longer exists. So in the present moment, you are forgiven, redeemed, whole, righteous, and perfectly designed. Everything that you need provisionally is within you and provided to you by the one who is within you. Any plan that you ever would need, any statement ever needed to be uttered out of your mouth will be provided for you from within. The truth will rise out of you the minute that you expel all the lies and illusions that you entertain in its place out of the way. It's time for you to clean up. And that's what we're doing, looking at all of these laws. We're looking at what we used to think had value, what used to be something that we would govern ourselves by and attempt to incorporate in our daily operations. Try to bash into our thinking. Promote to other people as though it had value and they should accept, receive, and promote it and apply it to their life. And now we're looking at it from the lens of truth and we see that it was all worthless, all valueless, and the very things that we were pissed off with people for not partnering with us in is something that we see was detrimental to ourselves and that we shouldn't have partaken in the first place. We've been so quick to judge others, not knowing that they are our reflection. The chaos and the dysfunction that you see on the person that you judge in front of you belongs to you. You only recognize it from your own experience. You recognize it as your outfit. You recognize it as something that hangs in your closet. That's why it looks familiar, because it's something that you wear. It's a presentation that you recognize from experience. So you speak on it very, very strongly. You judge it very, very critically, because it's the same thing you do to yourself. You only extend to other people the very thing that you extend to yourself. So when you learn to forgive yourself, you won't have an issue forgiving other people. You won't be online trying to research ways and methods to forgive other people. The only thing you need to learn how to forgive other people is to forgive yourself. The minute you extend the forgiveness to yourself and you enjoy the benefit of forgiveness for yourself, you won't have any problem giving that same experience to another by the free forgiveness that you extend, that cuts them from the guilt and condemnation that you once experienced. And you should be aware that they can't fix nothing sitting inside of guilt and condemnation, just like you. It paralyzes them the same way it used to paralyze you. It causes them to be stressed out, worried, overthinking, and become abusive with their words and their actions with the best of intentions, the same way it used to do you. You're looking for people to respond differently from the things that you went through in the past, as though you don't recall what it was like to walk around in the dark thinking you know, running into walls, pretending you never did, trying to play it cool, worried about who can see you, when really everybody around you is just as blind as you are. Our attention has often been put in the wrong place, which is why we have given power and given space in our experience to the very things that we did not want, and we have found a shortage of the goodness that we have craved because it's not what we give our attention to. To be honest, for the most part, when we give our attention to good things, we think about the absence of it for ourselves, and we think about how we can obtain it, which only promotes the idea that there is a place or is a space where goodness does not cover, where goodness is absent. And as long as you think that such a place exists, and you think that you have found yourself in such a place, you won't be able to escape the experience of the imagination that you have given life to, because of the power that flows to you and through you freely by design. This is what you were created to do. You were created to create, but you were not created to create illusionary things because you thought illusions were real. You are a king. You are a queen by design. But if you have not taken ownership and taken dominion and authority of the kingdom that is rightfully yours by heritage, then you're not a king or a queen in operation. You're a pretender. You're one who is operating lower than their identity. You were designed for a throne, but you find yourself roaming around with the peasants. You're like a person who has $1 million estate. You're like somebody who was left a mansion by a deceased relative that never went and claimed it, never knew about it, didn't know it was theirs, and stands on side of the road with a sign begging for help. You do not have time to entertain who you may possibly be offending with your purpose and the fulfillment of your success and abundance. You don't have time to worry about that, because the only people who you could possibly offend by being who you were designed to be is those who do not know yet that they are everything that you are expressing yourself to be. But to be real with you, again, remember, those in front of us are our reflections. So if the people in front of you are often offended with your good deeds and good works, you can best believe that you're just as offended with the goodness and the grace that is extended from the free extension of the love from those who are light beings as well. you better believe you're just as suspicious, you're just as judgmental, just as critical. However you have perceived the world to be, it's how you have been familiar with yourself operating in the illusion that you are something other than the full expression of I am. It's either you don't know that you and I am are one, or you have some really, really jacked up thoughts about who I am is. Now, if somebody said, I am as an alcoholic, or I am as a drug addict, or I am is a liar, or I am is a deceiver, or I am is evil, or absence of the awareness of good, or I am is hateful, you would get offended with your little religious self who says that you aren't religious. But when you operate in a hateful way towards one who was created by the same source that created you, who encompasses the same I am that you say you know, then you're being a misrepresentation of I am, and you are bearing witness to the world that I am is hateful. So you have no issue showing what you have an issue with someone saying. Know who you're dealing with at all times. Know who you're dealing with at all times. The only way to know who you're dealing with at all times is to know that you're always dealing with a reflection of yourself at all times. You are always dealing with one who in reality is the creation of the ultimate and infinite and sole source of all living things. You are standing in front of someone who was as perfectly created as you are. You are standing in front of someone who is as wholly loved as you are. You are standing in front of someone who is as received, as approved of, as satisfying to source as you are. This person in reality is everything that you are. They were created by the same source. They originate from the same divine home. They are inside of the same physical expression of coming back into the awareness of original design and purpose. They are fully embraced by the source that created the both of you. They are everything that you are in reality, a full mirror. They are nothing different at all, not one single way. In the physical, if they have yet to come into a true experience and an awareness of true knowledge and the expression of love that was intended for them to be eternally, then they are just like you. They are operating within an ego. They are operating from a identity that they have designed for themselves that is false, fake, unreal, doesn't exist in reality, but does to them. They have embraced this identity that they have created for themselves based on their past experiences. They have given attention to this identity that they have created from their past experiences. They have watered and nurtured this false nature, and it has grown into a full expression of the very thing that plagues their experience and keeps them strained, striving, and without the promises that have been extended to all who are on the physical plane